Students, how did you cheat the system at your school? When I was in my first year at an Ivy League, I came close to losing my scholarship because I underestimated how hard the classes were going to be. Even though I pulled all-nighters to study, my grades were still bad after every assignment. It made all those hours feel useless, and they could have been used to go party with my roommate, since we hadn't done that in a while. The excuse I gave him was always I need to study, but if I was just going to keep failing no matter how much effort I spent on that, then I was just going to say F it, and go out. But that would put my scholarship at risk, and I definitely couldn't afford college without it. And somehow, everyone in my class was passing, and I had no idea how they were doing that because there weren't any study groups for bio we could go to. However, after I flunked another exam I knew I had to find out what was really happening in my class. So, I asked the person next to me how he was passing, and told him I thought our exams were really hard. He looked at me all weird and said, "Don't you use Chegg like the rest of us?" I was shocked. I had no idea this was even going on, and though it seemed like it would cut back my hours on studying and I could go out more, I was scared of getting caught using Chegg. I asked why he wasn't scared, and he said his dad made big donations to the school so he knows he's not getting expelled, and he didn't think it was a big deal to cheat. I was against using Chegg because I definitely couldn't afford to pay the dean off if I got caught. Instead, I kept studying every chance I got, and stayed up all night to review all the notes I took during the lectures even though all I wanted was to relax. I thought I was finally ready to pass the next bio exam because I put in so much effort, and I couldn't fail. But my hopes quickly died when I took that exam. I swear everything was in another language, and understanding anything seemed impossible. It even made me consider using Chegg like everyone else, though to this day, I'm glad I didn't. If I had, it would have ruined my life. Later, the dean set up a meeting to talk about how I was going to lose my scholarship if I didn't bring my grades up. After telling him nothing I did was working, he gave me some options. He told me to go to the library, but that meant more studying, which wasn't working. He suggested joining study groups, but I said there were no study groups for bio, because they were all— I checked Canvas for the TA's office hours, but all the time slots were already taken, so that was a bust. My roommate asked if that meant I had time to go party that night, and I couldn't stop myself from ranting about my life falling apart. He said I could just use the same AI cheating extension he was using to pass his classes, and it gave him a lot of time to have a social life, which is all I wanted. I still wasn't sure if I wanted to use anything to cheat because I didn't want to get caught, but he assured me I wouldn't because this wasn't well known like Chegg or Quizlet, and professors were way more worried about the thousands of students using those sites than us two using this cracked, but unknown extension. I thought it was too risky, and I really wasn't sure about using an AI extension because I could lose my scholarship if I was caught. But then again, failing every single class could also get me to lose it, and it would definitely free up my time to do anything besides study. Using the extension would make my life so much easier. It clearly made my roommate's life easier. It seemed like cheating would be the best option, and it was. I quickly used the extension that night for every single assignment I had because my roommate practically begged me to go out with him. Since I'm not a complete idiot, I made sure to get a couple questions wrong so it wasn't too suspicious. Over the course of a week, my grades were slowly improving, and I didn't bother studying for any exams I had because the extension had been working great so far. I spent that free time hanging out with friends and partying with them, and when I did have an exam coming up, I just slept so I could be well rested for it. I always had the best sleep afterwards since starting college because taking the exams felt so much easier now. I wasn't anxious or stressed like I normally would be because the cheating extension gave me all the answers to everything like usual. For one exam, I ended up getting the highest grade in the class, and that easily got my grade to a B average, which meant the dean wasn't going to be on my back about losing my scholarship again. Though, he was definitely a pain for everybody else in my bio class because he found out they were all using Chegg. He told us it was strange that there were no study groups for biology since every other major had multiple groups. He started investigating, and found out everyone was cheating because all their answers matched up with the ones on Chegg. He said they were all going to get in serious trouble. The dean spent days dealing with angry parents trying to pay him off, and the student's only punishment was failing the course. I was the only one that was safe though, because he believed the teacher assistants were helping me out, which meant he didn't know I was using an AI extension. Later that night, I bought my roommate round after round of shots for actually giving me good advice.